Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised. Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised. Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised. Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
What? You haven't pounded your head against the wall enough lately? Feel like you need to crack your skull? Well, W807 Studio in Chicago, Illinois would like to proudly present a special podcast, blog from GABA. Just to make sure you really do crack your skull against the wall. We're going to give you a reason to. And now for the number one reason to crack your skull against the wall with GABA and his blog.
The windows in the lobby of the North Tower were blown out, and marble panels were blown off of the walls. This was brushed off as damage from a raging fireball that went barreling down the elevator shafts. However, the World Trade Center's core and elevator shafts were hermetically sealed, aka airtight. The fire could not possibly have had enough oxygen to travel 1,300 feet down, retaining enough energy to destroy the bottom 8 floors of the building. On 9/11, New York City lost 343 firefighters at the World Trade Center. Since they were the ones inside the towers before and as they collapsed, I'd say they've got a pretty good grasp on what happened. So what does the FDNY think?
Exactly. What does the FDNY think? And more importantly, could a situation like this arise in Chicago? Could Chicago have its own 9/11? We'll answer that question and many more. Hey, we're back from the break right here on 1710 AM, W807, Chicago, Bridgeport, Lincoln Park, Chinatown, and other great cities around the area. Now, here's the topic. The topic is, could Chicago have its own version of 9/11? And here recently as about March 8th of this year, there's 2 Chicago men who were schoolmates in Pakistan, and they plotted terrorist attacks against a Danish newspaper that triggered widespread protest by printing cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad. David Coleman Headley, 49, went to Denmark in January and July, and he started conducting surveillance on possible targets. Now, his accomplice, Tawar Hussein Rana, 48, helped arrange his travel and going over there. Now, see, that's kind of the point I'm getting at right here today. We're getting to the point to where, who do you watch? Who do you not watch? Is this guy cool? Is this guy not cool? Is he going to blow my kids up? Is he going to kill my wife and kids? Am I going to have a bad day at work because I got some crazy? And actually, what's kind of funny is really the first question that we need to ask ourselves is what is the definition of terrorism? Well, there's a lot of people who will come up with different things. They'll say that, terrorists are only people who come from the Middle East, or, terrorism is, something that is created by Muslims. Well, that's not true at all, because terrorism is actually an act which is created to change people's point of view by means of terror. And these are some things that you can actually look up on the net, and later on in the show, we will actually tell you where to go to actually check this stuff out at. Welcome back from the break. I'm Gabba. You're listening to me right here on 1710 AM W807. The subject matter that we're talking about this evening is terrorism. And what if, and that's the big word there, if it happened in Chicago? How would Chicago deal with it? But like I said earlier, man, we need to really figure out exactly what terrorism is, the definition of terrorism. Well, the FBI defines terrorism as the unlawful use of force or violence against persons or property to intimidate or coerce a government, the civilian population, or any of its segment thereof, in furtherance of political or social objectives. Well, okay, that's fine. If that's the case, I'd also like to add into here that this is also the use of force or violence against groups of people as well. I mean, we've seen this before in the past. You know, certain groups of people who are terrorized to basically change their mind into doing things. And this actually happened not too long ago in our recent past, around 68 years ago, in fact. It was called World War II. The Nazis. That's what they did to the Jewish people. They terrorized them. They made them do certain things. They couldn't be this, they couldn't be that. And unfortunately, those who forget history tend to repeat it. And I'm telling you, people, we're repeating it all over again. Here recently, man, a Jordanian man was arrested in Dallas, Texas, after allegedly planning to detonate a car bomb and bring down a Dallas skyscraper. And the incident was alarming to the residents there in Dallas, but also it was strangely mirrored after something that was going to happen in Springfield, Illinois, where basically another guy was arrested on charges of attempting to blow up a federal building down in Springfield. And, you know, when you go to the World Wide Web, you go to the internet, and you type in terrorism in your little search bar, man, and about a billion things come up, including this picture I'm looking at right now, which I think is kind of funny, of Bin Laden flipping me off. But it kind of makes you wonder how much of this is real and how much of this is just people running on fear. I'm telling you guys right now, the first thing everybody needs to do is they need to grab a hold of common sense. They need to grab a hold of common sense. Let me say that again one more time so everybody understands. You need to grab a hold of common sense. Common sense in a terrorized world is going to be your best ally. It's going to be better than your next door neighbor. It's going to be better than anything you read on the net. It's going to be better than, almost better than God. But I'm not going to go that far, because maybe a little faith will help all of us out here. But seriously, common sense is going to be your best ally. What are some of the common sense things that you could do here? Well, you can make plans. You can prepare. You can talk to your kids about this. You can talk to your neighbors, talk to your best friends. You can talk to your school teachers, doctors, lawyers, maybe even some local politicians. And please, I stress local. But seriously, here after the break, coming up here in a couple minutes, we're going to explain to you some more things. Actually, the plans. Some simple things that you could do to prepare yourself for an upcoming terrorist attack. And also, coming up later in the show, is Chicago a threat? Is Chicago something that could be hit? Coming up here in a minute, right here in 1710.